My name is Master Sgt Cedric King, 20-year veteran and faithful Carolina Panthers fan.
Cedric King was injured in an IED explosion, and while he was recovering, we were going up to play the Redskins.
I get a phone call and it says, hey, look, you want to meet the Panthers? You're from Carolina, you want to meet? So, yeah, I want to meet the Panthers. You kidding me?
We get to the hotel, and here comes Cedric King. He's in his wheelchair. He's a double amputee.
Coach Rivera walks in, and I'm like, oh, God, Coach Rivera. Coach is like, listen, man, I would love for you to talk to our team and tell them, you know, some of the things that happened to you and how you're winning. Like, I'm not doing much winning, but I'll tell them what happened, you know?
He came and spoke in front of our team, and it was phenomenal. The guys just went nuts. I said to him, how do you stay so positive? He says, Coach, I think to myself, every day something good's going to happen. Like today, I woke up, and I get to meet my favorite team. Tomorrow, I get to go to the game and watch my favorite team beat the Redskins. And then on Monday, I get my new legs. Everybody went, wow, that's perspective.
Since then, man, like, Coach always stay in contact.
We were blessed a couple of years ago to make a great friend, and he's back to visit a little bit. First Sergeant Cedric King.
The Panthers, man, when I walk in there, it's like walking into a family reunion. That's just the organization, and it started with the coach. Just a special guy.
You'd like to believe that you could be brave like that, that you could be someone like Cedric who served his country and gave. I'm coaching football. I'm living my dream because people protect the right for us to have these things.
1, 2, 3. Keep at it.
It's always Salute to Service Month for Carolina Panthers head coach Ron Rivera, who joins us now on NFL Total Access. Really cool story there, Coach. I know you grew up in a military family. You're probably all too familiar with stories like King's. I'm sure that's not the case for a good majority of your players. What do you see them get out of their interactions with guys like him?
You know, I think what happens is Cedric helps put everything back in perspective that, hey, we are playing a game. Sure, we get paid a lot of money to play this game. But for the most part, there's guys like him. There's women out there like him that are serving our country, putting their lives on the line for our benefit, for our freedoms. And we most certainly got to make sure we appreciate that.
9-0, Coach, your team, for the first time in franchise history. Not the first time for you, though. You were on that 12-0 Bears team in 1985. Do you take anything out of that experience as a player that informs the way that you coach this team this year?
I try to, Lindsay. I mean, I try to remember a lot of things that Coach Ditka did in trying to keep us focused on the next opponent. You know, a lot of things that go on talking about, oh, this might be your trap game, or, you know, hey, you've done something that's never been done by your team before, and make a big deal about possibly having all the home games here if we get to the playoffs. I mean, all those things that the media are bringing up, we're trying to make sure we stay focused on winning one at a time because, you know, in order for us to get those things, to accomplish those things, we've got to win them one at a time.
Do you still keep in touch with Ditka?
Not necessarily this year, but in the offseason, he and I have gotten together. We've sat down, we've chatted a little bit. And it's kind of neat to be able to have somebody like him that I can visit with and talk with, you know, whenever I see him casually.
You okay with Ditka and the Packers gear in that ad that's out right now?
Well, you know, somebody told me that they noticed that ever since he's been wearing that Packers sweatshirt, they haven't won a game yet. So I don't know. It's, but it's kind of neat to talk with Coach and see him do crazy things like that.
Cam caused a bit of a stir last week, obviously, with the touchdown dance after the last touchdown. I want to play for you what Mike Mularkey had to say about it, the Titans head coach, obviously, interim head coach. And then I want to get your take on it afterward.
You know what, all I saw was the tail end of it. He did it all game. I guess that's acceptable. It's not taunting, but in my mind it is.
Thoughts?
Well, you know, it is. It's kind of the league has changed. I mean, this is a little bit more not just about playing the game, but I think there's a little bit of showmanship that's kind of come about because you see it happening a lot. Is it acceptable? I think there's a certain point where after a while it becomes taunting, and we've got to be careful because there is a fine line. I know the league has talked about trying to find ways to allow the players to keep their personality, but at the same time, do it in a tasteful, positive manner that isn't taunting.
Was that too much? Was this particular instance taunting?
I think if it was anything, it might have been too long. You know, I mean, I understand the celebration. And probably one of the things that he does during the celebration, I think that is probably one of the neat things, is he takes the ball and he gives it to a worthy fan. I think that's one of the things that we're trying to make sure gets focused in on a little bit more, and that is the opportunity to go up there and give the ball to one of our young fans that have come out and watched us play.
So I'm told by our social media team, people here that are cool, that dance that he did was a mix of the dab and the flex. Is that something that you already knew? Because I know that you hang out a lot in the locker room. You might be cooler than me.
You know, Lindsay, I got no idea what they're doing. I mean, some of the guys do some of the other dances that are out there and stuff like that. I got a 23-year-old daughter that knows a little bit more about the social aspects of what's going on in the world, and she can explain those things to me.
Why do you hang out in the locker room so much? Don't you feel like a dad who won't leave the teenagers' party?
You know, I do at times, but you know, it's interesting is I learned a lesson after my second season, and that was how important it was for me to realize that the locker room is not the players' locker room, and it's not my locker room or the owner's locker room. It's our locker room. You know, so what I've done is I've asked them, they converted my downstairs locker room into another office. So I have an office downstairs. That's where I get a lot more visits from the players, and it's easier for them to reach out and talk to me about the things. And you know, it's kind of neat because I've had players come to me with not just football situations, but life situations. And you know, I've tried to be that guy that can give the advice from my experiences, having fortunate enough to have been a player.
Ron Rivera looking for win number 10 this Sunday against Washington. We wish you good luck. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, appreciate it, Lindsay.